fish. Easy, buddy. You can get yourself. You get that out of your hand. Check it out. Real fish. No, baby. Stop. Stop. What do you think? All right, this morning I was out here with my son, and he was splitting and I was cutting. And I wanted to take this one out of the way because I wanted to open up the path to some of the other tops that are up in there from that logging operation we had done. Oh, I guess it was last fall, right? It's been a year. So I've got this to block up, and I've got a piece right there that crosses another trail that I want to clean up. And I just finished fishing. Put all my fishing junk in the side here. Lay right in there. And there's a 262. I'll gas it up, but I'm probably not going to run it. I want to put another couple of tanks on this before I put it away. And it either earns a spot where I just keep running it until it falls apart, or, you know, I let it run out a couple of tanks and put it away. But I kind of like it. It's kind of goofy. It's one of those things where there's no logical reason to say that you like it, because there's a lot of things about that saw that are really not something I would prefer. But I just keep looking at that thing and realizing that it was somebody's prize once. You know? And a lot of the plastic is brittle and breaking and cracking and stuff like that, so I don't know how long it'll last anyway. So just let it be what it is. And I changed out the lines. You probably saw that video. It makes okay power. It's supposed to be 88 cc's, but it's pretty low-tech cylinder. It's Homelite. And I'd say the things that keep this from being a mainline saw for me is you got to have Homelite mount bars. Now I'm going to investigate blending Husqvarna bars to it, but right now I pretty much only have Homelite bars that'll fit on it, and I haven't explored the die grinder solution to other bars just yet. Just I've been bolting on the old Homelite bars I've got. And I'm not a fan of the profile. I like the new Husqvarna profile bars a little bit better. Other than that, it runs good, oil's good. At least it did. And here's the test. This will be, I don't know, maybe the third or fourth time I've run it. How hard is it for me to get it started? It's always a big deal. And does it run smooth and do what I want it to do as I actually do this job? Blocking that up. That's the question. One of the goofy things about this saw is these are reversed from everything that I've ever experienced. This is the oil up here for the bar oil. This is the gas. And all the Husky John threads, it's the other way around. Pretty much every modern saw has to draw the same distance. Then the other thought that crossed my mind is maybe the reason they do that is to get gravity feed. But anyway, let me fuel it up. And being by myself, I'll have to put on chaps and all that stuff. Oh yeah, just another point. I'm back to using my bag of supplies, wedges, screwdrivers, bar nuts, you know, scrunches, stuff like that. And I always have one of those for insurance. That's the junk pile 572, which really shouldn't be considered a junk pile because it's actually pretty fresh and runs like it. It's a good running saw. Right now I've got a 24-inch VersaCut on there, but as the seasons begin to change, we're beginning to see the leaves change, I'm going to go back to a 28 and use that one for logging some. And there's the 262 that I ran this morning with a steel chain on a Husqvarna bar. And that's actually a good running saw. It's not going to win any races, but it's just a nice running saw. I got to tweak on the carburetor just a little bit because it's a little harder to start than I like. So anyway. they're going to be running out of gas by now. It's still going. That's a very nice saw to run right there. I've really not done it justice, I don't think, in my previous commentary. Wow. What can I tell you? That was a very pleasant experience for that saw. It doesn't vibrate as much as you think for an old saw like that. And while it doesn't have a lot of chain speed, you can just lay the bar on the wood and pull the trigger, it goes. I like that. And I'm going to revise my commentary by saying it doesn't make 80 cc type power. It most certainly does. And maybe it just had to get broke back in. You know, maybe it had a little rust or something on the cylinder. But for whatever reason, it runs better now than it did before. And one of the ways you can tell about the health of a chainsaw is if it can idle at the very low RPMs. You might wonder how come I didn't jack the RPMs for the video. Well, I just wanted to see if it would do it. And that thing was putting probably about 2200 RPMs or even less. So that means the ignition's healthy. That means the seals, the bottom end, and the compression are good. Because if it had an air leak, in the bottom end, or it had low compression, or the ignition wasn't strong. It just simply couldn't idle like that, period. So that old 540 runs pretty good. You know, I think I'm going to put another tank through it. I don't want to run it out and lean it out. I was kind of like wrestling, do I do that? But no, I think it's earned a spot to work a little bit. Maybe next tank I'll retire it, but I think I want to put another tank through it. I mean, the trigger and all that, they work in the normal way. I like the Homelite's push button high idle. I like that. The Husky on this one right here is so simple. It's just got that lever on the side. But my 281 is kind of conventional. It's a wash. That choke. I do find it kind of goofy that the bar oil and the gas are kind of inverted from Husky. Is one better than the other? I can't really tell you. But the Husky 281, 288 series that was contemporary was definitely a generation ahead in terms of saw design, because they had gone to what we basically have now with these, where you have the gas in the handle and the bar oil in the tank, which actually helps in the wintertime, where this was still like the old Husky 285, 298, series, where basically it was in the handle. So Husky left that design behind, kind of kept it on the bigger saws for a short period of time, but Homelite embraced it with both the 410 and this, which I think is kind of kludgy. Now, here's a few things that bothered me on this saw, and I'm not sure I can 100% blame it, but there's a gazillion different fastener sizes on the Homelite, and the Husqvarna usually has the 4mm hex, the Allens, and the details like that on the Huskies are usually quite a bit better sorted out than what I've seen on this saw. But the question I have is, this was a high hour saw, I'm pretty sure. How many of those fasteners were oddball because somebody had to helicoil it? They just simply rattled out because of the time. This was somebody's prize at some point in their life, I'm sure. But I do find the smaller fasteners and stuff like that a little bit annoying, where the Huskies were already the high quality fasteners, so I give that to a Husky. And so when you actually do a review and you try to do a comparison one versus the other, it's really not fair. But this Homelite did a lot better and has performed a lot better for me than I anticipated based on my first impression. I think I have to give it that credit, to the point where I actually want to run it some more. I'm going to get a different bar and chain combo for it. I'm not happy with that. But it runs nice, it runs smooth. I kind of like its easy power, good throttle response, low vibration, easy start. It idles, it doesn't stall. It does all the things that a good saw is supposed to do. So how can I bag on it that bad if it's proving to be a good performing? And there's a difference between living with a saw and running it and having the satisfaction with a saw than just theorizing what it would be based on what you think you're going to see. And my first review was based on what I thought it was going to be. And I'm liking it a whole lot more now that I've spent, this is going on 4 or 5 tanks, right? And I want to put another tank through it. And I guess that's really, an action speaks louder than words. It's not a bad saw.